All right, so the next thing I want to go over is how to fix things that are broken. And there are two tools that we can use to fix a lot of things. Um, and the most common reason something breaks, by far the most common reason, is that, oh no, there we go. We go to extrude something and something goes wrong. I'd say this is the tool that gives everyone the most headaches. We extrude, and then for whatever reason we don't move it, so we extrude again. And now there's what's called a hidden face in here. And that hidden face, we find it by going into vertex mode and moving a vertex. And when we see this, that's a hidden face. All right. It can cause a lot of problems. And I don't think these hidden faces will show up on the inside. Yeah, no, this is not the kind that shows up on the inside. There are others that do. And undo till it no longer says extrude. There we go. But how do we fix this, and how does it look when it's broken? Now, there's a lot of different ways it'll look when it's broken. Sometimes you can tell in the shading. The way we can see this one broken up here. See how garbly that looks? Right? There's definitely hidden stuff going on in there. Sometimes it looks like things overlapping with each other. Here, I don't have that yet, though, because it hasn't really done anything yet. But another way it happens is if you go to extrude somewhere else, and I extrude, and I get this. And you're like, but I said keep faces together. That's one of the options in extrude is to keep faces together. And it doesn't seem to be keeping faces together. Well, that's because there is a face in here. So the faces are kept together. Which is that we're not moving that one. Because we didn't select it. So, how do we fix this? Well, I'm going to undo till it says extrude so I don't have an extrude on here. How do we fix this? Well, if the vertexes are directly on top of each other the way these are, like they are perfectly aligned with each other, pull it out, you can see, right, you can't even see what's going on. This is a pretty simple fix. I right click and I go into vertex mode and I grab the whole section. We want this whole thing. And I go to edit mesh, merge. And I'm going to bring up this options box just so you see what's happening. This threshold, anything that's this close or closer will get merged. Now if I hit apply, with the window still open, it keeps the windows open, and then I can test the theory, and I can move this, and oh, it's all perfect. It merged the two vertexes. Now, you have to be careful because if this is up too high, that happens. Right, the higher the number, it won't undo until you close the window. The higher the number, the further away the vertexes can be. So what to do about this garbly mess up here? That merged vertexes thing may not work out too well, because how do you find a number that is close enough that these two collect without these two connecting, or these two connecting? Right? See, I just got rid of the whole bridge. So there's a better way. Step one is I'm going to select this whole area because I know that there's like hidden faces in here even though I can't see them. I'm going to edit mesh, I'm going to change my merge settings, and I'm going to go to edit reset settings. It brings it back to the default. So if you mess with this at all and you don't remember what the original number is, edit reset settings. I say merge, and alright, so at least it got rid of that nonsense. How do we fix the rest of this? Well, as it turns out, I can look at this and kind of see that this edge loop is actually okay. Right? This one right here, it's working out all right. It's this one that's all screwy. There's another vertex merging tool, and it's called Target Weld. So I bring up the Target Weld tool, and there are settings right here. And you can tell it to merge to target. The target's the second one you click. So watch. I'm going to click here to this one, and I'm going to drag to that one, and it seals it up. I drag from this one to this one, and it seals it. They're no longer separate. I don't have to drag select to get both of them. This one always was together. There we go. So again, target weld. Now if you did center, then it would bring the two together in the middle. And you could see the little green dot where it's going to be, where it's like previewing. Oh, whoops. Make sure you don't have anything selected when you start. There we go. Right. But we don't want that. We, in this case, because we know one is in the correct place, we're bringing the other up to match it. And now that should... Oh! I definitely had something selected and I didn't know it. So one of those merges, there it is. Had that selected and I had no idea. These are the kinds of things that happen. Now I undid just to a point where I hadn't messed it up because frankly, that was easier. Sometimes redoing things is just the easier way. There is a way to kind of break it apart, but like, I didn't feel like figuring that out. So instead, I just undid a few steps and then remerged it. The target weld is pretty easy to use, so that was cleaner than trying to repair the damage, because trying to repair the damage also means moving that vertex to be out and in line with these, which there's no view to get them in line with each other. You can't be in a top-down view of this and say, oh, it's supposed to be here. Where's here? We can tell when they're out of alignment, but there's nothing in the computer that can say, like, align these things so that they're, you know, in a perfect circle. All right, so edit mesh merge or your target weld tool. Either one of these tools, depending on the problem, will help you merge vertices and get rid of most hidden faces. If you have a situation like we had at the beginning of this video where you bridge things the wrong way and you end up with overlapping faces, that's a different story. You have to delete faces and rebridge correctly. There's a lot of different ways you can break a mesh, and I can't figure them out here because you're going to just find them as we go. But I'd say that's the biggest thing that happens. And it is, once it does happen, the further you go without fixing it, the worse it's going to get. So the best thing is to keep it intact as you're going. The next best thing is as soon as you find a problem, fix it. Absolute worst case scenario. Let's say this whole area is just a hot freaking mess and you can't figure it out. It sucks, but you can delete and then start over again with extruding edges. And pull this up and scale this in. It is unfortunate to lose work, but you will lose a lot less work this way than if you continue with a broken model and then you try to UV map it later. Or you continue with a broken model and you try to animate it later. It is always, always, always preferable to fix it early on, even if that means getting rid of part of your work.